I will never forget the scream that tore through our village that cold, rainy morning. It came from the alley beside Mama Ife's stall. When we rushed there, we saw a beggar on the ground, soaking wet, shaking, looking mad, but crying in Chief Gozie's voice. "I am not this man," he wailed. "Where is my body? Where is my house, my car, my driver?" We laughed, thinking he was drunk. The beggar's clothes were stained with mud, and flies danced around him. But something about his voice chilled me. It was the proud voice of the man who once mocked beggars like they were dirt under his shoes. You see, Chief Gozie was the richest man in our village. Every morning as he passed the old beggar who sat by the market gate, he would throw cruel words like stones. "God must hate you," he once told the beggar. "Look how useless you are." But now, it was like God had swapped their places overnight, and nobody could explain it. That day, I began to believe that heaven listens, and when it moves without warning. The man who laughed at the beggar had become the beggar himself. Just the day before, Chief Gozie had rolled past the old beggar in his black jeep. His glass was down just enough to be heard. "Still sitting there, fly collector?" he mocked, his gold teeth flashing. "Even your shadow must be tired of following you." Some people laughed. I didn't. I had seen the pain in the beggar's eyes. He never replied. He just held his broken cup and looked up to heaven. That night, the clouds refused to hide the moon. The rain didn't fall as usual. It beat the roofs like a warning drum. Some said they saw a strange light near the market gate where the beggar slept. Morning came, and Chief Gozie was gone. In his mansion, his clothes lay on the floor like a snake had shed its skin. His wife screamed, "He's not here! His bed is cold." Yet down by the roadside, the beggar we knew had a new voice, a voice that shouted about mansions, wealth, and servants. That's when the whispers began. Did the spirit swap them? Did karma finally answer? Or maybe, just maybe, pride had finally reached its full harvest. "I am Chief Gozie," the beggar shouted in the market square. "You all know me." But the people only laughed. Some threw orange peels at him. One child even kicked him. "You, Chief Gozie?" Mama Titi mocked. "Where's your fat stomach and gold watch?" The man in rags cried like a baby, but no one showed pity. They were too used to the real beggar sitting there, quiet, forgotten. So now that he shouted like a madman, they felt it was just worse than before. Even the village priest, Father Chika, looked him over and shook his head. "This is a spirit matter," he said. I stood in the shadows, watching. Something in my heart whispered truth, even though my mind fought it. It was the eyes. They weren't the beggar's eyes. They were sharp, proud, and confused, just like Gozie's. Still, no one helped him. They fed him what they gave the beggar: crusty bread, leftover soup, and insults. That evening, the sky turned blood red. The wind carried dust that stung the skin. And I heard the beggar, no, Gozie, pray to a God he once mocked. "Teach me, Lord," he wept. "Show me what I never saw." By the third day, Chief Gozie had learned what true hunger meant. He sat by the road with a tin cup, watching people walk by, just as he once did to the beggar. But now it was his mouth asking for mercy. A schoolgirl passed and dropped a kobo in the cup. "Take, old man," she said. "It's all I have." Gozie looked into her eyes and cried. He used to spend 100,000 naira on one bottle of wine. Now he couldn't afford bread. That afternoon he found a banana peel in the dirt and ate it. I turned my face. My heart ached. He started talking to himself. "I used to have a gate man, a chef, a driver, but none of them would recognize me now. I called the beggars animals, but who is the beast now?" By evening, his face was sunken. The village dogs no longer feared him. The man who once made others feel small had been made smaller by life itself. When anger becomes your teacher, pride packs its bags and flees. 1 week passed. Gozie's hair grew wild. His lips cracked. He smelled like forgotten things. He crept to his own house in the dead of night. The gates were closed, his mansion glowing inside like a castle. From the bush nearby, he saw his wife laughing with his driver. She wore his robe. The driver wore his shoes. Oh, Gozie gasped. They've taken everything. He crept to the window, looked into the glass, and jumped back. The mirror showed the beggar's face, not his. This is not me. I'm inside someone else, he screamed, but no one heard. He wept, but the earth did not open. He ran back to the market square, collapsing beside the fire. And in that firelight, I saw something change. Gozie no longer looked around for help. He closed his eyes and whispered, I'm sorry. That was the night his real lesson began. The day the chief bowed was the day I believed even mountains can kneel. He was sitting in the dust when a cripple passed. The man dragged himself with 2 wooden blocks and a torn sack for trousers. Chief Gozie, no, the beggar, ran to help him. Wait, brother, let me help you cross. The cripple looked shocked. You? Help me. I once thought I was a god, Gozie said, but now I see I'm no better than the earth beneath your hands. I watched it with my own eyes. The man who once refused to shake poor hands was now washing another man's feet with water from a gutter. Something had melted in him. His voice had lost its thunder. His eyes had lost their fire. His heart had gained something quiet and true. He began to say thank you for scraps. He began to bless children who laughed at him. That evening, he gave the last of his food to an old blind woman and smiled. And I thought, maybe, just maybe, he was becoming human again. The real beggar had vanished. Since the swap, nobody had seen him. No one even knew his name. He had always been that madman by the gate. But one dry morning, just as the cock crowed, he returned, standing tall and clean. He wore white. His hair was neat. His back was straight like a soldier's. And he stood right at the market gate, just like before. I was the first to see him. You're back, I whispered. He nodded. The lesson is almost complete. He walked to Gozie, now sleeping under a tree, and touched his shoulder. Do you see clearly now? He asked. Gozie woke with a start and looked at the man. Their eyes met, one full of questions, the other full of answers. I see, Gozie said quietly. For the first time in my life, I see. The man nodded and smiled. Then he vanished right before my eyes, just like mist when the morning sun rises. And in that moment, I knew something bigger than us had been moving among us. The next day, Gozie walked to every person he had ever hurt. To the widow he once mocked for begging in his office, he bowed and gave her all the coins in his cup. To the mechanic he once slapped for touching his car, he offered his back. To the poor schoolboy he once insulted in public, he gave him his shoes. He even came to me. I once called you a gossip, he said. I smiled. You were right, I replied. We laughed. But this was not the laughter of pride, it was the laughter of healing. He began sweeping the church compound. He helped the farmers carry yams. He joined the old women to fetch water. And slowly the village forgave him. Not because he asked, but because he had changed. That's when I realized forgiveness is a river. You must enter it with nothing but your truth. It happened like a dream. One morning, we found the beggar gone from the roadside. No sign of him, just a fresh mat folded neatly. We searched, but just as the sun rose, a loud scream came from Chief Gozie's compound. He's back! The gateman shouted. There he was, standing in his old body, dressed in a white wrapper, clean and barefoot, holding nothing. His wife fainted. His children ran away. But I walked to him slowly. Is it truly you? I asked. He nodded, tears falling down his face. I'm not the same man, he said. I've worn the shoes of the broken. I've drunk the cup of shame. Now I know what it means to be small. From that day, he walked with the poor, built houses for widows, and opened a school for beggars' children. He never bought a new car. He said, the earth has already carried me once. That is enough. Today, if you walk past our market gate, you'll see a small statue, not of Chief Gozie, but of the nameless beggar who taught him everything. Below it, the words read, pride is the mask that hides your true hunger. I still sit under the mango tree and tell the story to young boys. They laugh, then grow quiet when I get to the part where the beggar disappears into light. Some say the beggar was an angel. Others say he was sent by God Himself. But me, I believe he was the voice of truth, wrapped in rags. And the richest man in our village became truly rich, only after he lost everything. So next time you see a beggar, don't laugh. Subscribe, like, and share. And finally hit the notification button so that anytime we drop new story, you will be the first to watch it.